Welcome back. We are now on entry 63. Can you believe that? I'm guessing this whole thing, now that I'm close to the end of the game and I have a sense of how much is left, we're probably going to come in around 70, maybe a little more. 72, 73, something like that, I don't know. Be around there. So we're getting near the end. So at this point, we have Dasani has sort of taken the lead on Sharika's team, and this dungeon that they're in, the inside of the barracks, this is not a particularly in-depth dungeon. Its primary reason for existence is so you can kick people's asses with Dasani, because this is, you know, one of the only times you get to play as her, and she's very powerful. And it's good times. Good times are had by all. So we'll get some, encounters at some point, I'm sure, and then, we'll kick some butt. But, yeah, let's do it. So she's got all these neat moves, and I'm going to do the cocoon one first, which you heard about in Master of the Wind if you played it. It's a thing that the winged mages do to enhance their powers, and a very abbreviated version here, where she's going to go into her cocoon with her wings for a turn, and it gives her a massive buff on several stats, and then so she makes it even more powerful. And what else can I do? Yeah, let's just rock the ultimate. I know that's not very original. I mean, it's not like you haven't heard of that before, but in this game, it's the most powerful holy spell in the game. And, and since Holy and Dark are thought to be the two best spells in the game, it's one of the top two. Alright, so let's do... I don't know, I guess that one's alright. Very powerful holy attack for one enemy. And Dasani is like almost pure offense. She's not one of the holy mages that cures. She's just like... She comes at you, holy shit. Yeah, see that damage? That's some powerful shit. She comes at you, and if you're on her bad side, just God help you, or Arcadius help you, but he won't, because Dasani is very, very spiritual, and you're probably screwed. Alright, so we're going to move these bookcases. Highly difficult puzzle, as I know. But, this is mostly just about getting used to Dasani and having a chance to use these characters again, because they've only made a couple appearances in terms of being playable. Alright, so if we got a save bunny, and that means we're nearly at the boss. So then we'll really have a chance to experiment with new skills and stuff. And here she is. Here's Coulter. She is the first sorceress of Gallia, and I'm gonna kind of undermine the subtext here and just say that Dasani grew up in Gallia, which comes out during this conversation, and but not only that, there was some romance between her and Coulter when they were young, and but Dasani sort of found herself and realized that the Gallian philosophy wasn't for her, and she left. Now the whole romantic part of it, it's heavily implied by the way Coulter talks to her. She sounds like a jilted girlfriend, but it's never stated in the game. I didn't want to shove in people's faces, but I was getting asked on the Master of the Wind forums a lot, if Dasani was ever married or stuff like that, and so it was, and Celeste hasn't gotten to the gay marriage issue yet. I'm not sure what they think about that, actually. That's give that some time. Maybe we'll address it another day. But stuff like that. And so I just came out and told everybody that yes, she was supposed to be a lesbian character. So that was that. And I think my reasoning for that was just, there's been a lot of progress with gay rights over the last several years. I mean, we've all seen that. Look at the last election we just had, 4 states making it legal. That's on the march. It's coming, and all this sort of backwards ass bullshit in the world can't stop it. But it was not. Oh, that did not always feel like the case, though. If you're talking about 2004, when I was working on the later parts of this game, it was different. I mean, that it was being used to divide people. You know, they were putting it on the ballot, gay marriage stuff on the ballot, to increase the turnout in red states, because they knew a lot of people would be like, well, we can't have that, we better go vote. And so it was very divisive, and there was always a religious tone to the rhetoric. And you know, I thought that was very unfortunate. I mean, not just because I'm married to a pastor, and she's nothing like that. She accepts everyone. There's none of that, you know, division bullshit in her church. And but just the idea that, like, you know, if you were gay or lesbian, that somehow, you know, you're like not, you couldn't possibly have any divine connection, like God must hate you. You know, I thought that was just complete bullshit. So I decided that the most spiritual character in the game would be a lesbian. So I guess in that sense, it's a giant little finger to, you know, backwards ass fucks everywhere. But you know, that's going on in the background. And speaking of backwards ass fucks, the character Coulter is named after, you know, if you pay attention to, you know, American politics and our stupid punditry, it's named after a woman named Ann Coulter, and she's almost a parody of like right-wing commentary. Like the stuff she says, I don't even know if she's serious half the time. I'm like, can anybody really be like that vile? That's usually what I think of when I read like her stuff or hear about it. And the funny thing about it is that I don't think it's in this scene, but she shows up later, this character, Coulter. And she starts, I took some of Ann Coulter's real quotes and kind of put it directly into the game, basically unaltered. You know, maybe like replacing America with Gallia or something like that, you know. Very few alterations. And they work perfectly in this context. I think that's more telling than any sort of, you know, point-by-point rebuttal that I could issue to, you know, the stuff she says. But, so, that's that. That's why she's got that name. And actually, in Clean Slate, her name is even spelled exactly like the real woman's name, actually. And when she showed up in Match of the Wind in a flashback, I took out the O. I mean, I took out the U, rather. I took out the letter U in her name so that it wouldn't be like exactly the same. I mean, that was a little much. But so there you go. I mean, this was you know, we've established several times while playing this that the sort of the politics of the time are very visible. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before someone else complains about, like, you know, being told to leave because you disagreed with the war or whatever. But oh, there she goes. Goodbye. I've been blathering on about this stuff, and then looks like we beat her. So, but like I said, I mean, even though there's this sort of heavy-handed politics behind some of these plot decisions, you always try to keep it from taking over the narrative. You know, the actual the story should be able to be appreciated regardless of any of that. You know, that's background stuff that you can add for your own satisfaction and for the satisfaction of people who might play it and be sort of in the know about those issues. But, you know, it was always important for me that the story could stand on its own, and all this stuff that I'm talking about is just, you know, in the background. So now we're back with Seth's group outside the fort. He called me a cur. Jeez, I'm gonna go home crying. This is the first sorcerer who replaced Azor, who was on the Gallia Council way back at the beginning of this game. Seth took him out, and they've got around to replacing him. And you know, even though he looks like a little, you know, wiener, he's pretty powerful. He's a holy mage, and he's got 2 dark golems with him, so it's a, you know, you gotta be careful with your attacks, because using a holy attack on the 2 gargoyles won't be very efficient against him, because he'll resist most of it. So that's the kind of thing I have to keep in mind with this combination of enemies. But once we take out the 2 guys, I'm gonna just unload some serious items on him, which you'll see. I'm looking forward to it. As soon as I can wipe out these golems here. And so yeah, there's a lot of you know, each of the major groups has had a boss fight, and we're also going to see some of the the supporting characters that are hanging out, they'll get a chance to fight a little bit. We've seen that at the beginning of the scene with some stuff coming up at the end of this. And it's all pretty much to set the stage for the last battle, which is quite, a lot happens, a lot goes on. After, there'll be some side questing stuff as well. There'll probably be a few entries about that because there's a lot of stuff you can do. But we'll start getting into that later. But we're down one golem. The other one should fall shortly. And there he goes. And now I'm gonna just waste this guy. He's a holy mage and thus very vulnerable to dark. So I've got all these dark orbs just sitting in my inventory. I haven't done anything with them, but they are quite vicious actually. Where are they? I know I got some. Yeah, I got 4 of them. And wait till you see the damage that this is going to do to him. This is the strongest dark attack in the game, gets invoked by this item. And we got, there we go, 5, 7, 6. That's pretty good, especially against a boss. And so we're just going to keep tossing these. Well, I'll have Alco cure me, you get the idea. And I can't control Zal, she doesn't really know what she wants. And it's just going to wreck this guy, I'm just going to have Wreck-It Ralph come in and be like, take one of these and be like, we're going to wreck it! But, so he went down quick once we started throwing that out there. But there's someone else we have to deal with. Somebody much more fearsome. And sure enough, it's Ariel. Oh boy. In both games, both Clean Slate and Master of the Wind, people are, every time Ariel shows up, people are like, oh boy. Especially if looks like we might have to actually fight her. And she's spilling the beans that not only is Lysander gathering the city's troops in the Great Gallian Fort, he's recalled all the ones that are serving around the world. So we're going to get a huge influx of Gallian soldiers unless we take action beforehand. But now Leanne has hit her with like a gas that sort of dulls her senses. So this allows Felicia to sneak up on her. So, there's some good strategy going on here with them. And Ariel's, ranting about Lysander's wife being killed and trying to pin it on Seth, but we haven't seen any evidence of this yet. So Felicia really got a nice slash on her. And, but, going up against Ariel one-on-one is very risky. She's tough, and she uses psychological warfare. And then she can take a punch and give it back. And, people watching that. Yeah, look at that. Oof. She went down hard. But she hurt Ariel enough that she wants to leave. And she's not even worried about losing the barracks. Because she figures she can't take the Great Gallian Fort. It's too well defended. And once the troops come back, that's it. It's over. So Felicia's alive. You can see her wandering around there. But she got close to getting killed. And I remember a few of my friends who played this were really attached to Felicia. And at the end of that scene, they're like, oh my god, she better live. And she did. I'm not huge on killing characters. I mean, I do. But it's got to be really important. I tend to think that most of them always have more to offer. That taking them out of the equation too early is usually a mistake. So this is the barracks. We control it now. It's all sorts of stuff to do. People to talk to. But I'm just going to use these buffs that I've been keeping around. And then, we'll save and we'll do some proper wandering next time. Well, let's get these out of the way. Alright, so hope you'll join me. Peace.